Many of you remember probably in the movie in the 1960s, The Sound of Music. Maria, as a young neophyte nun, goes up before the Mother Superior. She's looking for guidance. And the nun, in her wisdom, the Mother Superior tells her, Maria, look to the hills. From whence cometh my strength? That's Psalm 121. And most of you probably remember that scene if you've seen that classic movie. But there are a lot of, besides being beautiful poetry, there are a lot of nuances in that. And I'd like to kind of look at some of those. So let me start by reading Psalm 121. I lift up my eyes to the mountains. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore. So first of all, I lifted my eyes to the mountains. What about the mountains? I see the mountains in Pennsylvania, I see the mountains in the Rockies. It doesn't help me any. So it's not really about the mountains. When we lift up our eyes in Hebraic thought, we are looking up in reverence. We are looking up with expectancy. We're looking at something with great desire. If we just look at something, we could look at it in a dreary sense, but if we're looking up to it, we're looking at it in a sense of wonder and desire. So that's the first part of this. The mountains could refer to the hills of Zion. Jerusalem itself, as people are making their pilgrimage to, on the high holidays, to the temple. And so it certainly could refer to the mountains and the hills of Zion in Jerusalem. There's some thought that it could also be pointing to a more sarcastic look at what many of the pagans were doing at the time. In the mountains, on the highest peaks of the mountains, they would put up their idols to their pagan gods. And by looking up to them, that they were looking for help from these gods that had nothing to give because they weren't real. And so it also has that connotation as well. And so when he says, I lifted my eyes to the mountains, where does my help come from? He could be pointing to these pagan deities or places that are statues. He could also be pointing to the sense of danger, that when people would come into the city of Jerusalem, there would be a very dangerous path. There would be robbers, there would be people out to sabotage you, and you traveled in groups as protection also. So there's all these things that come into this idea of the mountains. But when we look up in desire to the mountains, we look to the help that the Lord God provides, that He alone provides, not a statue, not man, not anything else, but the help that comes from God. We look, in some translations, above the mountains. We look up above the mountains, from where our strength comes from, the realm of God, the sovereign God. And it says the maker of heaven and earth, that our help comes from the maker of heaven and earth. Why is that in there? Could it mean that the very God that created the heavens and the earth is capable of everything and anything? Could it be there's nothing beyond His grasp? It talks about how He watches over us and He won't slumber. Well, you see, the innuendo here is the pagan gods were known to sleep, because many of them were fashioned after human emotions, even if they were animal deities. They still had human thoughts and human feelings that He assigned to them. Okay? But our God never sleeps. And so it's pointed out here for that reason. The Lord watches over us. And he's the shade on our right hand. Well, the right hand we know is the hand of blessing. But also it goes with the idea of a soldier who carries his shield in his left hand. In his right hand, then, he has the sword that's exposed to, conflict, to danger. And so a Hebrew soldier would want to have a very good friend to guard his right side. God guards us on our right side. He's the shade. We are in the shadow of his wings. He is our shade, and he is our protection. So that unprotected part, he's there to protect that, as well as the protected part also. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. It was thought that the Babylonian god, whose name incidentally was spelled S-I-N, would bring sickness on people and taint their health. So neither the sun will harm you by day, in other words, the harshness of conditions during the daytime, nor the evil that might come against you at night. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He'll watch over your life. We see a verb that's used. It's called the shamar. It's repeated 3 times with emphasis in verses 7 and 8. And it means to guard, to watch, and to keep. And it builds every time it's said. So it starts off softer, like in our Lion song. And it builds to a dynamic level of being emphatic. He guards, he watches us, and he keeps us. He guards his flock. Yeah, let's see. I wrote some notes down here, and I just want to make sure I cover everything. And then, with God, we never walk alone. Even when we stray, he's there with us. Just like the children of Israel, when they strayed, he didn't leave them. Even in their captivity, he was there with them. Because he's made a covenant with them. He's not going to leave or forsake us. Even when we leave him, it might take a while for us to come to our senses and get back to him. But he never leaves. He's a constant. So in all of your needs, in all of your sicknesses, and all of your problems, whatever they may be, this verse should really, or this set of verses, which was a song of ascent, as the people were singing this as they were going up to Jerusalem. And this should give you comfort, this should give you hope, because the great meaning in this is he's there to deliver us. He's there to save us from whatever our troubles are. Bless the reading of his word. And if we want to come up for prayer, now's the time.